Hey guys and basement dwellers, respectively. Uh, I just wanted to make a video saying, yes, I'm aware I haven't been making videos lately, but partially that's because we're living in really kind of insane times where we're just waiting for the other shoe to drop, kind of. Like, what's the next big thing? How are we gonna be like coping in this world? And I just don't know what to say. Honestly, I'm just sort of like, I'm just making my money. I'm just trying to like save up for some property or something like that. And like the world just like makes less and less sense. Like things happen and headlines happen, and I'm just sort of like, is that really happening, or is that happening just for the purpose of selling that headline? You know what I mean? And basically, I've been following these finance YouTubers that are following the stock market and AI and the housing market and inflation and all that. So I'm like, I'm up to date. I'm a nerd. Like, I'm 100% nerd on that regard. But I'm like, these days I'm running out of things to even watch because all the same information is all the same information that everybody else knows. And I'm talking from a United States perspective. Like, I'm sure it's a lot worse in other countries. I can only imagine. But I mean, like, the American dream is like very it's crumbling. It's like one of those pillars in like one of those like in Rome. All that's left is like a pillar and it's slightly leaning. It's about to tip over. Like it just needs another heavy rain or something like that. That's kind of what the United States feels like right now. And I'm just not very proud to be an American. And I'm just coping like everybody else. And so basically, I was working this job at Amazon, um, which it was a tough job, but it did pay decently. And I found out that it paid decently because they expected like a very high level of, Olympic level of performance. And yeah, and if you didn't perform to that level, which always changed by the way, it's not like it could just be like a certain level and you like get to that level. It's like no, if you make a mistake and you perform better than that, then you'll be expected to do that for the rest of your employment. But basically, yeah, Amazon is I don't know, they kind of have like their demographics kind of tuned in. Like they kind of know that people want a little bit more money for their work and all that, and then they expect more from them. And it's sort of a job that's not designed for any kind of longevity for anybody working there for a certain amount of time, that they're getting better or they're like trying to improve themselves. Like there's no recognition for that because they don't care. It's just, but anyway, I've been doing all these random temp jobs and stuff, and what was really effed up was that my hours were cut essentially from 40 hours to like 20 hours, but they did it so gradually that it was sort of like a frog being slowly boiled alive. And I know this because they didn't want the bad labor statistic of they laid off this amount of people. But for this certain like LLC company working under Amazon that I was working for, they were actually still hiring people, brand new people, training them, even though half of the shifts, half the time, they had twice as many drivers as they had actual routes. And if that won't blow your mind, then nothing will, essentially. But after a while, I kind of realized like this thing, like this big bubble they were experiencing is like, it's not even nationwide, it's kind of like worldwide at this point, using the United States and basically China as a model. China's kind of ahead of us in the shit hitting the fan category. But everything's tied together, and I was watching the housing market because I was thinking about, I was saving. I've started saving to buy, a house or some property, because I want to have like my little nugget of something before I die, because I've reached that point in my life where I kind of want that, and I want to be away from other people if I want to be, and just do my own thing. So I've been following all sorts of, real estate and housing market and everything, and I realized that they're all connected, because people buy houses not just because they want somewhere to stay and they want something stable. They buy them because they want to hold on to their wealth into something that's tangible that will go up in value over time. And this kind of thing is tied in with inflation, because like the cost of living, like rent, food, gas, that kind of thing, which the government's lying to us straight up about how much that costs and how much inflation is going up. They do like these weird maneuvers to say like, oh well, if you don't count food, then inflation is pretty good. Or if you don't count this, you don't count that. And they're just like dancing around this thing and this big problem where when COVID happened, they essentially just like they just ejected a bunch of money. They just printed a bunch of money out of thin air and said, like, that's how we're going to pay for this. But the problem of that is that we don't realize until much later how much money is actually worth, because they just put all these dollars into the market. So essentially, I am still waiting for the housing market to go down. That's what I'm hoping for, is I'm saving for some property. But I'm also thinking, like, there's going to be a limit to how much it goes down based on inflation and the cost of living and everything like that. And then the stock market is in its own delusional reality. And thankfully, I'm not invested in the stock market right now. I hope to be one day, but like, I feel like now's not the best time to go back into it. Like, I had some stocks, a few years ago, I invested, and it was basically like Tesla and like some very like meme worthy stocks that just didn't perform well. And I'm actually glad that I sold them. I am glad, because I would have lost even more money had I kept them. But now I'm kind of waiting for the next big phase, or the next big, whoa, what's going on? And for the way the media is, like, I'm appalled by the idea that there are people out there that trust the media on any regard. And I'm not talking about any specific media. Maybe if it's an independent person who's, handpicking stories and fact checking them and everything. I'm not talking about that kind of person. I'm talking about big media, MSNBC, CNN, like all those, I mean, even Fox News to a certain regard, because they are pushing a certain agenda. They're like pushing the Pepsi to the Coke kind of agenda. Like and I don't watch Fox News that often, but sometimes I have to figure out what the fuck is going on, because they offer the other side of it. And it's just sort of a shit show, and I kind of feel like, the reason why I haven't been posting videos that much is because like I'm working class. Like, I sell my labor for money, and there are more degrading things I could do for money, like OnlyFans, sure. But, like, I'm a hardworking individual, and I'm trying to be stingy and save money for the next step in my life. And there's just like all of this uncertainty going on in the world where I can't really even comment about it. Like, I feel like the chance to comment on it has kind of passed, because we know that the housing market is very overvalued. Like, we know that's going to come down. We know that the banks are going to eventually fail, because they're banking on all these mortgages and housing stuff to just go up forever. And it's just sort of like the greed and the euphoria of get rich quick kind of bullshit is just like plaguing the economy. And in a way, I guess the labor market is still good, but like, how? And it's just sort of like, what do you guys want to see videos about? Because I can do my own little stupid song and dance type thing, but I can't really like be a commentator right now because I feel like the worst of it is to come, or like we're gonna look back in history and see something and comment about it, but right now it's just sort of like it's a game of chicken. Like what's gonna break first? And with all these fake reports in the media about how everything's great and the economy's great, I just kind of feel like they're telling us, shut up, peasants. You know, like we're reaching this new feudal age of the very small minority hold most of the wealth. And we're being sold this lie, kind of like a religion, like all you need to do is hustle and you'll get there and everything like that. And I was sold this lie too, because I got a college degree. And now looking back, what's the use of a college degree? But for me, it was sort of like a gateway out of my previous life and into a new one, right? I could move to a new city and, gain skills and everything. And I'm not saying a college degree isn't worth it. It definitely has worth to me individually over time because I will always know these skills that I learned and it's always part of me, but like it's not like they sold us an appropriate amount of college degrees for like the labor market. Of course they wouldn't. Because they're all about making money. They really couldn't care less about like if the students actually got jobs and shit, because that's not what the market is. And I started reaching out to like a local photographer, cinematographer, to maybe collaborate in some of my videos. And I was just thinking like that would be really great to just not have to worry about the camera settings and all that shit, even though I know that because I have a background in graphic design, and just focus on like the other things that I could bring to that video or series of videos. So, yeah, I have like different ideas for how to continue. I don't know how much you guys want me to be a fucking gamer girl, but I'm thinking maybe I could just like get a gamer headset and be like playing Rust, because who does that these days? And just be like, yeah, I can defend myself because I can call you all sorts of insane names as well. Or something like that. Um, and I have a new computer that's like a gaming computer and stuff, but I don't know. I feel like just looking at you, whoever you are, it kind of seems like that you guys just want one long unedited video, unedited video of me talking, and just pretend like we're on a date together or something like that. Like you don't really want the showy kind of next clip is this kind of thing, and that's very old YouTube of you. But I guess it's just at times it's hard for me to find motivation to make videos because I'm not monetized yet. It would take quite a long haul for me to do so, to get enough watch time and views and subscribers and everything to do that. But also, like, who's composed of the audience really does matter, because there are certain demographics of people, like age and gender and, specific, you know, specific things about these people that make them more or less marketable to certain markets. And I didn't major in marketing, which I regret now, but I kind of want my videos to be mainly for like the adult crowd. Like this is not sort of like a nurturing, you know, channel for kids. I mean, kids are welcome to watch my videos, but it's not going to be like a "Aw, what's going on? You'll find a girlfriend someday." Like, I'm not gonna do that because I have better shit to do. And so like these, and I thought I was gonna go and find a video that had like a lot of negative comments that I thought, and do another video on it and comment on those comments. And then I went back to a video that I remembered a couple, really like stinking, kind of festering comments in the section. I was gonna comment on it, but since I had accumulated more views and my views just went up, the comments got nicer the more views I got, and I was like, oh, that's how it is. That's how it always is in life, because people who see somebody just starting out, they want to extinguish that flame, and they want to put them down and get them to quit and destroy them because they're insecure and they could never do that. But as soon as you got a little something, something, and I don't even have that many subscribers, you guys, like, you know how many subscribers I have, and, it's like, it's something that could go somewhere, but it's not, I'm not making any money from this, like, and it is what it is. So I'm asking you guys, like, what do you want me, what do you want to see here? Because I have a lot of political opinions and all that, and I could rant for ages. I could game. I could, I'm probably not going to start an OnlyFans. I'm sorry. I just have just slightly, just a little bit more dignity than that. Maybe when I'm like really old and my stuff starts to sag, then I'll be like, okay, finally you guys get to see it at 63 or whatever, because then I wouldn't care at that point. But I don't know. I feel like the age of integrity is kind of even more precious these days. So I don't know. That's how it is. I am gainfully unemployed and drinking white wine, so what else do you want from me? And I mean, you better subscribe if you haven't already. I mean, what are you doing here?